How's everyone doing tonight, folks?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Just no real answer. Just
Oh my god.
Alright, welcome to Dice Mischief. Tonight we had a couple players unavailable, so we're going to be doing a little, bit of a side session where we play Exquisite Biome by Sea Excursion on, your platforms of choice, seaexcursion.itch.io. I'm gonna throw that up in the chat for anyone watching or, yeah, anyone who's watching the VOD, you can find a link to their curses Otis. You can find a link to their itch.io page on the description. It's a really neat game. I recommend it highly, and hopefully it's going to be lots of fun.
I personally am very excited to make some creatures.
Yeah?
Yeah.
La criatura?
Dios mío.
Dios mío.
Alright. So here's what let's do. The beginning of the game, we're using the Exquisite Sprints variation of the rules, wherein we each create a creature. So I'm going to deal out some cards to everyone. Do, do, do.
Please, Father, we crave cards.
All right.
Father, I crave cheddar.
We're not playing from our dummy player tonight, so you're going to see me screw up a bit. As I just did when I tried to deal cards and then didn't. Alright.
It's like
So,
dramatic irony, but for comedy.
yeah. Dramatically ironic comedy. Comedic drama. The English language is a struggle, always, for me. Which
Reject
is not to say
humanity.
any other languages are less of a struggle.
You've heard of monolingual. Now get ready for non-lingual.
So how do the cards exactly work?
Uh, Essentially, I'm going to walk you through some prompts. The cards, based on their suit and rank, will determine what those prompts are.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Feel free to shuffle the cards around in your hand so that they're in a different order if you wish.
You can do that?
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I see now. I see. Okay, interesting. Um,
this is hitting that exact like feeling of I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And when you shuffle your hand just out of restlessness. This is hitting that exact vibe.
it's time to do Dungeons and Dragons. All right, we all have 3 cards. It looks like
Yep.
I have
Uh,
organized my cards in the order which I like them.
cool, cool. A typical round of play in this game would have started with with me dealing 2 cards to the table to determine what our biome looks like. We're playing a little bit differently. We're playing a variation where we already know the biome, which is Belovich Fortress and the surrounding area from our D&D game. So we're going to be
Fantastic.
creating weird little critters that might evolve or come to inhabit a magic regrowing dungeon.
Funk yeah.
Concrete.
Otis, please.
Indeed. Hi, Otis.
Hello, Otis.
He's so angry that our neighbors exist in a physical capacity.
How
As
dare
he
they,
sh-
frankly.
as he should be.
hmm
For those of you that don't know, Serapit is tragically not here tonight, but they have asked us to make some wild, freaky creatures that they can turn into. So I'm going to do my duty faithfully and make some weird, breaking creatures for Serapit.
That sounds awesome.
I
That's the
hope to
hope.
reverse engineer a horse.
That's
I
also
That
the
don't
hope.
like the
sure
sound of that.
that sure is a phrase that you just said.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to start us off, just to give an example of play. So the first card in my hand is the Five of Diamonds. So looking at the
Interesting.
table, diamonds tells me this is a bird or fish,
Okay.
and 5 tells me its ecological niche, which is insect forager.
Ooh.
So,
It's just a little guy.
yeah. One of the neat suggestions which come with these prompts is you might begin by starting with a real life animal as sort of a base. And I actually have one in mind for this prompt immediately. I am obsessed with a creature known as the potoo.
Oh
uh,
yeah.
I have no idea what that is. Spell that. I'm gonna do a Google.
P-O.
Potoo.
It's beautiful.
Oh my god, look at that face.
It is
Look at
just
that
a
Cody,
face.
bug-eyed,
Cody, are we
flat-faced bird that looks like a muppet.
are we
They
live
also
are we live on Twitch?
they also
We are.
scream croak like a fucking.
Because I'm on the Twitch and it doesn't say we're live.
I'm
Doesn't
on
it?
it and it says we're live. I'm watching currently right now that I see like the thing with all the faces we drew.
I do not see that. There's
Maybe
some
reload. Maybe close Twitch and reopen it.
yeah. I just wanna
I don't even have
hmm.
Twitch open. I just trust the stars and
I mean
Otis.
I also trust the stars, but I don't trust the stars.
That sounds like a you problem, frankly, not the stars.
Truly, truly. Um there it is. No, it's not. For some reason it's stuck on the we'll be right back screen for me.
Let me
So,
reopen and let me reload mine and make sure it works. Hold on.
also, if you've never heard what a potoo sounds like, they scream croak like a frat boy yelling at his mom for turning off the Wi-Fi.
Lovely. I just closed the tab and opened a new one and got it up, and the stream is working.
Hmm. That's peculiar. I don't like
You're
it.
peculiar. Sorry.
Oh, now there it is. What the heck?
These nuts are peculiar.
That's weird.
It was just waiting for me to insult you, I guess.
I guess.
You
All
had to
right,
fulfill
so
the quota.
yeah. So Cody, we got a Potoo we're starting with.
Yep. That's what I'm going to use as sort of the base for this creature.
Okay.
And I'm going to, while I look at the prompt for the next card, I'm going to draw a little potoo face. Because why not?
Heck
Yes.
yeah. I
I
feel
would
like this grid we have here it's gonna be absolutely covered in little illustrations by the time we're done.
I would bust out
Oh
my
yeah, that's
tablet
the
and
hope.
I actually did try busting out my tablet, but for some reason I can't draw with my tablet on the Roll20 screen, which is weird.
Weird.
yeah, I can just do with my mouse, which is, frankly, homophobic.
I don't know which pose who I like more.
Oh no. One of them only has one eye. There's the other one.
Trust the process, bro.
I do.
And there's a little potoo face. I'm not a good artist, but there you have it.
It does indeed capture the aesthetic of an actual potoo. Also, why is the one on the top left mad?
La criatura.
That's just how it be.
Fun fact about potoos, they will hide from predators by camouflaging as tree branches and pieces of dead wood.
Yeah.
Based
Don't we all?
on their feathers, I can definitely believe that.
You know,
Don't
they
we
just sort of
all?
stretch into a weird shape.
Ooh,
All
cool.
right.
So we're starting with the potoo.
So what's his
Yes.
deal?
Good question.
Does he do his taxes?
No.
Definitely
Look at
not.
that face. He's running from the IRS.
All right. Uh, so the second card is the Five of Clubs, which tells me this creature has horns or antlers.
That's terrifying.
That is great, actually. I love the idea of a bird with antlers. It's giving very Periton or Wolpertinger vibes. I personally am a fan of any fucked up creature with antlers because I'm very I love deer monster creatures except the one that we don't say the name of.
Beelzebub.
Because we're not supposed to talk about those. And I lament that having deer skulls and antlers has become a feature of that creature because creatures with deer skulls and antlers are fucking cool in general. That's how I feel about things. So is it horns or antlers, Cody?
Oh no, it's selected pink, and I'm too lazy to go back. It has bright pink antlers, which.
It
Horns, rather. I'm drawing
I feel
sort of curving ram horns.
I feel like it's gonna give
It has just a little
poison dart
antenna.
a poison dart frog vibe, where like if you see the bright color, you're like, oh no, I don't want to eat that. Maybe
I'm feeling that.
Possibly. A feature of this
tasty.
game is that while you have final say over your own creature, everyone is encouraged to ask follow up questions like, "What's that
Yeah.
feature used for? What?
Yeah.
How does it do its thing?"
I
Mhm,
like to
mhm.
imagine that it uses its ram horns to headbutt holes into the stone for burrows.
That's right, it is an insect forager, so yeah,
Yes.
it could use those similar to how a woodpecker
Yeah.
uses its beak to dig.
Yeah. I love that. That is delicious.
I do like that. I do definitely
But
like
that
that.
okay, it's breaking into flat stone, so that begs the question, how strong is this thing?
Godly.
Okay. Instead of stone, what about wood?
I'm not sure how much wood there is, at least natural wood that you would find the insects and all that is in the fortress.
That's true. Well, it could always be that it's just like the material that horns are made out of are just naturally super like hard and
That's
rigid.
fair.
Wait, What if it
It just
partially
comes at you like a little rocket.
it partially headsbutts, but it also grinds the stone away by rubbing its horns against the stone?
Its horns would need to constantly regrow at that rate because it would always be wearing its horns down, like a
Yeah,
rat with its teeth down.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
It serves two purposes. It wears them down so that they can regrow, and also they can dig
Or
into.
maybe, or maybe they just
There,
headbutt each other to compete for mates.
I mean the horns can serve multiple purposes.
yep.
Yeah,
Can you
And
imagine just like walking to like your job or something, your shop, and you just see two birds up in the rafters headbutting each other viciously?
we're like, ah, damn it, it's mating season again.
Ma, the potoos are back at it.
My
but going
body's
off of
moving.
the grinding thing, actually, a cool little bit of information then would be if they don't grind their horns down, they eventually become too big and too heavy for them to fly, and so they're stuck on the ground for any predator to come by and snap them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so we have a flightless potoo, which digs little burrows in the stone with its ever-growing horns, uh, feeds on insects. I'm thinking this probably inhabits like the upper layers of the fortress. We haven't talked about those much, but the
Hmm.
fortress extends like half a mile into the sky, so there's got to be some weird shit up there as well as in the
Yeah,
deep layers, right?
I feel
yeah.
like if it's mostly insectivorous, then it probably resides either like close to the ground level or maybe like a little bit subterranean because like it's going to
Hmm.
go where the food is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that does make more sense. Good thinking.
Yeah.
And it is worth noting, this being a magical setting, not everything has to make 100% biological sense. So, like, maybe its horns are. Hmm. So, we've already
Maybe its closest
established.
relative are actually sheep.
Maybe. We've already established kind of the arcanophages, the weird nudibranch looking things that feed off ambient magic. Maybe one of this thing's primary prey is those, and that's a source of the sheer toughness of its horns. They're
I
I'm
magic.
just
like it.
imagining I'm just imagining walking along the street and you see like a cloud of those nudibranchs and you just see a Potu fucking headbutt the slug out of the sky.
So actually, then, what if its horns emit a natural, slight magic like bait almost to draw them in?
Like an anglerfish, but it's a Potu.
Exactly.
Oh, nice. You know what? I'm gonna give it a third horn that dangles down like an anglerfish lure.
Yes.
I like it. Picasso.
Yeah.
My bird's head's getting a little crowded, so I'm just gonna give him one little unicorn horn.
It looks like a demented penguin.
He is.
He knows what he's done.
That is great.
The gods know what you've done.
All right. I think that about covers the distinctive feature of the horns. So let's see. My third card is the Two of Spades, which is going to tell us their habits and personality.
Hmm.
All right. So
The
two is
it's
endangered.
endangered.
It's
Oh
an endangered
no.
species.
All right. So this creature's species is at risk of extinction. What forces endanger its livelihood?
Not
Uh,
obviously adventurers.
Sheer stupidity.
yeah, they could be like pandas. They just don't have the wherewithal to eat and fuck when they need to.
They're just all they know is just how to throw themselves headfirst at things. They are just wildly stupid.
So
Not a
I like that idea, but here's my idea for it. So we've established that its prey is the magic eating whatever you call them. I forget the name already because I'm an
You're
idiot.
right.
um, but we know that those creatures don't really have a want for any, like they don't have to search for their food anymore. They just eat off the natural magical essence of the fortress. So what if, their lure is now ineffective at bringing in their prey because the prey doesn't have to search for its food anymore. It just sits where it is and eats.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. And this card being the suit of spades tells us dozens, hundreds, or thousands of this species live together.
What? What?
It's the last flock in the world.
The last flock. It's like the last unicorn, but worse.
It's like a hailstorm, but awful. Of just these little suckers throwing themselves like footballs out of the sky.
Like footballs.
What do we think is the collective noun for these creatures?
An annoyance.
That is a wonderful question.
A nuisance.
Nuisance.
A hilarity?
Honestly, they look pretty silly. I think hilarity would be something that comes up in natural dialogue.
An absurdity.
That as well.
You know what? I think I like absurdity best.
Yeah.
A spit in the eye of God's good creation.
All
A
right.
spit.
So now that we've established what these creatures kind of look like and how they behave, I'm going to play a card to the table, which is the
A
Jack
jack of
of
clubs.
Clubs. So that's going to tell us we're going to play out a little scene of how they behave in this environment. And the Jack of Clubs, uh, well, the Jack in general, the suit doesn't matter for this prompt. This is a scene of pursuit or defense. So I'm going to decide how the. We need a name for this thing.
We do need a name for this thing.
An absurdity of.
Rambo.
I mean, we could just go Avatar with this and call them ram owls or something. Because they're somewhat reminiscent of an owl.
Yeah, it needs to have a name that flows off the tongue. Off the tongue.
Little shits.
That's their colloquial name.
Right, little
Little
bastards.
shittas. An absurdity of
Mm,
Oh, you know what we haven't established? How
what?
big are these things? I
I
was
was
assuming normal
imagine
potoo sized.
I was also imagining normal potoo size.
I do kind of imagine them like I don't know how big a potoo is. I just imagine them being like the size of a football because that makes it really hilarious to me when they throw themselves at you full speed.
Yeah, I think football size is perfect.
All right,
The
football
size
sized.
the size of a football.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with Zelda's suggestion and call these things ram owls.
All right.
Okay.
They're little owl-like dealies that ram you.
Wait. What if we split the difference and because ram owls like over time ram owls became rammels.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Mammal.
Uh, Here I will spell it.
You could also type it into chat.
And I'm just
I
now
like that.
now realizing this is my mother's maiden name.
Ha! It's great.
Haha.
Now you guys can access my credit card information.
Thank
And
you. Noted
just
that
out of
down.
curiosity, no other real reason. What was your first pet's name?
Yamama.
Oh, I've been got. Oh, somebody save me.
Your princess is in another castle. Okay, so these things. What if they're defending themselves from a group of adventurers?
That is true.
What if they
Um,
mistake our common magical items for food and just throw themselves at us head first?
what if Seraphit's trying to get too close so she can transform into it, and they mistake her for a predator and just go "Ah!" and
They all just start screaming.
they all just start screaming
Oh, that's
and
right, because they live in packs.
yeah, and hurling themselves at her like you kick Rammel like the football.
You kick Remmel like the football.
Oh,
Jail for
jail for an
Seraph.
adventurer, jail for Seraphit 1,000 years.
All right. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. A group of adventurers who might be our group stumbles upon a group, an absurdity of rammels, and they're just hopping all over the place like angry little chickens, uh, just headbutting Seraphet shins.
You know, I have an
Bonk,
idea,
bonk, bonk.
and feel free to shoot me down. I feel like they should have an AC that is way too high for what you think their AC should be. You think their AC should be like what, 12? They have an AC of 17
Yeah,
God.
because of the horns.
Yeah.
They're
because they
just
have
absurd.
magical horns, which probably like
Maybe they have like a
extends to the
defensive
rest of
instinct.
their bone structure, right?
Maybe
Well,
they
yeah,
have like a
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
they have like a defensive instinct to point their heads towards any perceived threat, which is the most armored part of them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I also like the part that their bones are just very dense. So like
Yeah.
if you
That's why they're flightless.
if you punt a Rammel, um, it won't go very far because they've got stone bones.
Their
Yeah,
feathers also absurdly shock absorbent. You just hit
Yeah,
that thing with a hammer, it just goes.
exactly.
and goes wow, makes a weird noise at you.
You could bowl a Ramel.
But yeah, I love the idea that that's why they're flightless is because their
They're too
horns and
heavy.
by extension the rest of their bone structure are too dense and too heavy, so they can't fly anymore.
It's perfect.
Maybe they were originally, they originally could fly, but in terms of defense, the ones with the harder horns, survived, and years and years down the line, now the only ones left are the ones with the densest horns and bones of them all.
Yeah.
I love this creature. I think this creature is perfect. I think this is God's most favorite creature.
I think it's God's silliest joke.
It is inexplicable. If there were no adventurers, it would inexplicably thrive.
It would become an invasive species to the rest of the world.
Oh my God! I just realized a good reason for why it may be um, why it may be endangered.
Well,
Even
Go on.
though the tower is supposedly self-regenerating, their their headbutting and burrowing into the walls can cause structural collapse, which doesn't get fixed for you don't know how long it'll take for the tower to regenerate, and sometimes it'll even regenerate in a different configuration, so people can get lost, stuck, and killed by the structural collapse caused by the ramels, so they are hunted down.
It makes it sound like they're too much of a danger to have been for as long as they have been. Do you think it's possible that they burrow holes into the dungeon's walls and then the wall regenerates around them, trapping them inside?
I like that better
Yeah,
because that makes them more stupid.
Yeah.
exactly.
And
It is
that's exactly what we need is more idiocy.
it is normal. It is normal to carve through portions of the labyrinth and find a pocket where there is just a ramble skeleton, like
Oh
Oh,
god.
fossilized. It's
the poor babies.
fossilized.
Yeah.
People are
The
finding ramble fossils.
the poor idiot
Now
creatures.
here's the real question, would it decompose? I guess it's bacteria and all that, but
I mean, it
oh
would
no,
probably.
because if they're burrowing for insects, that means there's insects in the walls, and then they would, yeah, okay. Never mind.
Oh,
My mind was in the wrong place.
oh, here's a
Mhm.
thought. So, what are some natural, like, substances that are valuable in D&D? Tough things, right? Your
Yeah,
adamantine, your orichalcum,
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Maybe there's a little bit of a problem with hunting these things too, because their bones just make for good, like, small
Good
weapons.
weapons.
It's
Yeah,
And
considered
that's
also
great.
magical items because they have an innate magical property to them.
it's
Yeah.
considered good luck when miners find a pocket with a ramel skeleton in it when they're carving,
Hmm.
because they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, extra money, bonus."
Hmm.
All right. So there's my notes on the ramble. Anything else we want to add?
I love them.
They they're an incredible creature. That's all. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Who wants to go next?
Can I please go next? I've been
Sure.
thinking. Okay, okay. The first card I have is the Ace of Hearts. So it's a mammal and it's a pollinator or plant spreader. Hear me out. A orca whale, but tiny.
Excellent.
They're also the
Excellent.
size of footballs.
No, no, even smaller, like the size of like a dragonfly, or like a large moth.
You know what? I love that.
Yeah, an
Like the size
orca.
of a rosy maple moth, for instance.
Yes, yes, yes. My favorite. My favorite. Yeah, orcas. Orcas the size of a large moth. Um, yeah. Um, the second card that I have is the King of Hearts. So it does camouflage or mimicry. I imagine that because it is a pollinator or plant spreader, it mimics it mimics the flora that grows naturally within the tower in certain areas. Because they're a bit elongated, I imagine they have grown to mimic plants with long leaves or some sort of fruit pod, maybe a type of bean. They're generally greenish,
What if
but
they
may have.
fulfilled what if they
Huh?
fulfilled the same ecological niche in this place that bees fulfill in our world?
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm going for. That
The
since they're a pollinator or plant spreader, they're like orcas but bees. An orca, but if it was a bee. Um, so that's that. Um, I'm not gonna draw it because I don't think I could accurately draw a decent orca whale. But we all know what an orca whale looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, they're the giant sea panda. Um, but the third card that I have is the Ace of Diamonds. So they're an invasive species, and they live in small groups. As an invasive species, um, I want to say that that what allows them to thrive is the unique flora that grows, and sometimes fungi, the unique flora and fungi that grows within the tower, likely due to the arcane energy. And it threatens uh, it threatens overgrowth. Overgrowth of these areas uh, could be a problem. These places becoming too dense and needing to be cut down, and other invasive species live there and thrive there and make things a little more dangerous. They drive out other insect species that other animals, such as the ramel, may need to subsist on. Does anyone have any ideas?
hmm. What
What
if,
if. Oh, sorry.
as pods, they eat the ramel?
No, they eat pollen.
Okay, they steal the ramel's feathers.
They Do you know what pollen is?
I'm not saying they steal the feathers to eat. The feathers could serve other purposes.
For the
Okay,
record, the sort of capstone of the game is framing a scene where all of the animals interact, so we can determine that much at the end.
yeah,
I was going to say, what if the particular thing they mimic is, snapdragons?
yeah,
Yeah.
They've got those sort of fat green bean looking pods that if you touch them, they explode and uh, sort of scatter the seeds everywhere.
uh-huh,
Maybe, like, they kind of mimic that, and if you touch them, they don't necessarily explode, but they quote unquote, explode into activity.
yeah. Um,
Though it would be something if they did explode.
it would be interesting if they were they're particularly aggressive if they're disturbed. So, what if also what if also the plants that they help propagate are incredibly deadly and poisonous?
Fantasy Nightshade.
Fantasy Nightshade, um, and um, the plant itself is also a a mimicry plant. So people who don't know how to tell the difference, they will they'll pick this plant, they'll eat this plant, they'll do whatever with this plant, and die because it's so deadly. And there's just so much of it because of these little orca moths.
Yeah. Maybe the orcas themselves are poisonous in the same way that, like, many species that eat
Yeah,
poisonous plants pick up
I like that.
poison from They're food
Yeah,
source.
yeah. They are inherently um they can be useful, but they can't be eaten by anything else. They it's not that they're an apex predator, they're just so poisonous that they can't be eaten.
It's like a
Um
poison dart frog.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And things still eat them. Like particularly I think the Ramel would eat them because they think it's a bug and then
That
they
would explain why
die.
they're so endangered.
But yes, yes, yes. Any more? Any other ideas?
Do we know what
And
introduced them to this environment? Is this like a matter of someone
Me.
had.
I think um what the initial idea I had was that they were a moderate and relatively harmless population of these creatures living in the area and propagating non-poisonous plants before the tower appeared. But after the tower appeared, they they adapted to become they adapted, propagated these poisonous plants, built up a resistance to the plants, and thrived. What do we think?
Yeah, I like that.
Eh,
Hmm. Okay. 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 Okay.
So then the
Anyone else?
question. Oh, sorry.
Hmm. No, I was going to say. Anyone else want to add anything to my babies?
babies.
Cody, what were you going to ask?
I was just going to ask. Bloody hell, what was I going to ask? Um, my mind is like a lazy Susan, it'll come back around eventually.
I think the plural name for them should be a hazard.
A hazard. I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I also like to think that and that their side fins are elongated to more resemble sort of the lower wings of a Luna moth.
Mm.
They sort of trail. They still move normally like an orca would in the water, except they float in the air. They have the trailing side fins. What else? Anyone else want to add some physical details?
I mean, I'm drawing over here, so.
Oh, wait, you're. Oh my god! Oh my god! I love them. And then another thing I didn't touch on was the small groups. I feel like they are similar to like like regular orcapods, where it'll be like a mother and her calf, um, maybe or more two or more
I
raising
thought
a small group of calves.
I thought orcas traveled in pretty large pods. Are you sure you're not thinking of other whales?
I think I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, pods. A small, but a pod, but a smaller pod.
So like less than 10 as opposed to like 15, 20 plus.
Yes, less than 10 in a pod, or a hazard.
Alright, I did think back to what I was going to ask. What do we want to call these?
That's a good question.
Little stinkies.
Little stinkies.
Little
Um,
stinky.
hmm. What about
What about
orcas? Orcas, Orcas, like orchid, but orca.
fairy whales?
Fairy
My
whales.
idea was baleen moth,
Hmm?
since they look so similar to a moth, and baleen is another word for, whales.
Well, yes, but
Orcas
orcas are
don't
not
have veins.
They don't have
Mhm.
baleen. They're
Really?
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't.
They have teeth.
Yeah,
They're
I was looking
orcas.
up at the Latin word for whale, which is balenia, however you say that. So
Oh,
that's where I got that from.
that is
Yeah,
fair.
probably
Did you
a
where
say
lot
the
of
modern
whales.
fair?
word baleen stems from.
Mm,
Yeah, a lot of whales do have baleen, but orca whales are an exception.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what did you
Technically
say,
not
Doc?
whales. Technically closer to
I
porpoises.
suggested fairy whales.
Fairy whales.
Yeah, because they're very small and very like graceful and pretty, but
Mm-hmm.
also they are prone to great havoc and harm.
Yes, I like that. Uh, Fairy whales. I still like orcas, spelled Orcha. Um,
A lot of things have multiple names. Perhaps they're
yeah,
both.
Yeah.
yeah. Their scientific name is the orca, but they're colloquially called fairy whales.
Indeed.
That's my that's my creature, la criatura.
All right. And let's draw a card for a scene prompt for one of these thingies.
All right.
Yes. Do I draw the card or do you?
I went ahead and drew it. Uh, I suppose I should have let you draw the card.
That's
Either
okay.
way, King of Diamonds.
A birth or death. That's interesting.
Right in my salad.
Um, I would imagine that um, that
Oh no.
oh no, for the most part they just leave their dead where they lie because that's
Well,
huh
I think this begs an interesting question. How long is their lifespan, naturally?
um hmm I want
I
to
think it,
say, hmm,
I think it would be really funny if they just lived like an absurdly long amount of time. Like they can live for like well over 100 years. It's just that they don't tend to die of old age.
yeah,
They're like
um
lobsters,
yeah, like they can
technically
live
immortal, but something always kills them.
they can live for a very long time, but uh usually they would probably be killed by adventurers uh, that
An injury,
an injury,
an
uh,
illness,
an illness, and when they die, they don't just immediately drop to the ground. They actually float uh, and just settle on the ground where scavengers can eat them, similar to how when a whale dies in the ocean, they float down to the bottom of the ocean and are eaten by scavengers.
what if when they die their toxicity breaks down and the rambles can eat them then?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, their toxicity sort of um, breaks down and they become a valuable food source for scavengers and
Insectivores like the
insect
ramble.
insectivores like the rammels, and I was gonna
Although
say
that does imply that the fairy whale is in fact an insect. Although I don't think the rammel can tell the difference.
yeah,
Probably not.
yeah. I mean, there are animals that are like a very specific type of eater, but they
Yeah,
will eat other things
it's like I'm not
uh,
gay, but a gallon
yeah,
of gas is a gallon of gas.
yeah. Like bears are obligate carnivores, but they also eat sedge and vegetation and other shit.
Deers are
Um,
obligate herbivores, but will eat birds.
and chew on bones.
Yep.
Um, so there was one other thing I was gonna say, but I couldn't remember it. Oh, uh, generally when a fairy whale dies, the rest of its pod will be start a. They obviously still communicate through uh a combination of whale song and insectoid chirping. Like if you've ever heard a uh, death's head moth uh, squeaking, combination of that and whale song, they're um, the members of its pod will sing a little song while circling in the air and then return to their business.
Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Oh God.
Fun fact: that song leaped to the top of the charts in the British Isles after Margaret Thatcher's death.
And we'll be making no comments regarding topical events.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, that's what happens when a fairy whale dies.
I'm trying to
When they're
imagine whale song in like a higher pitch.
I
Chipmunk remix.
uh, go to jail.
Sounds like Nightcore.
Oh God.
Fairy whales sing in nightcore. Uh, you know that a pod of a hazard of fair whales is near when you hear Rockefeller Street. If you don't know what that song is, I'm going to link it. It is widely considered better in nightcore. The original song sucks when it's not nightcore. It's very bad.
You know what else is very bad?
Your mom.
Your mom.
Anyway, so that's the fairy whales.
All right. Zelda, Miloh, who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Alrighty.
What's your first card, sir?
Queen of Hearts.
Ooh, the queen.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know where you guys are getting your information, so I actually don't know what I'm
Uh,
looking.
it's in
There's
the
a PDF in the
yeah. Cody shared it. It's under. It should be under. Uh,
announcements.
yeah,
Or yeah, announcements.
announcements.
I can tell you what it is if you'd like, though, that you drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It is a mammal and it is an ambush predator.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what mammal are you thinking of? I think what makes this shit like one funny and two cool as hell is if you don't choose something that's already an ambush predator.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said at the beginning of the session, it's a horse.
Oh my god, a horse
Oh
that is an
God.
predator.
I'm making a horse an ambush predator.
Oh
That's
god, no.
terrifying.
Hold on,
Regular
I have
horses are already bloodborne monsters. Why?
I mean, if you don't want a horse, I can go with a different animal.
No,
no.
this is
We
That's
need
your
perfect.
animal. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Because I
hard
do
to
also think a
contemplate.
deer would be a great ambush predator.
hold on. Everyone, look in general.
Well,
Horrifying.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
It
Jeez.
is. But imagine you're just walking through the labyrinth and you hear
The horse used the elevator.
here. I
didn't know.
knew how to do that.
All right. So we have a horse who is an ambush predator.
Yep. And then you're going to go into your second card.
The Four of Hearts.
Four of Hearts. It has spines and spikes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically, we're going to give this horse an ice cream paint job. And it's like the midpoint between a horse and an ankylosaurus.
Oh my
I
god.
love that. Yes.
Okay, I have to add something.
Yeah.
I have to actually recant my statement about the um their hooves are padded so they don't make noise. And that's how they ambush.
Very.
Yeah.
I would say that over generations of natural selection, their coloration actually blends in very well with the natural stone of the dungeon itself.
And what if, hear me out, what if they have patterns that mimic like brickwork or stonework?
Like armadillos?
Kind of, yeah. Like, you know how stones are like stacked and they've got the grooves?
Yeah.
Patterns that mimic that, like uh, rectangular uh, striations, you know?
Fuck yeah. So basically, it's an ambush predator that lurks waiting to fucking get you with its big, huge, horrifying ankylosaurus tail.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's a horse. Very quick, upsettingly large ambush, like rushdown predator.
Very, very agile, but also a bit bulky.
I mean, that's how it gets you. It fucking crowds you in those hallways.
Yeah.
You can't get past it. It's only a matter of time before you hit a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you gonna do? You're
Yeah.
gonna get got by the
If
horse.
if you're behind the horse, it'll hit you with its tail. If you're in front of the horse, it'll bite you with its teeth.
Exactly.
This is a horrifying creature.
I love him.
So what if what size prey does it hunt then? What I should ask actually, what size is this creature? And then what size prey does it hunt?
It is at least horse-sized.
Okay. So it's
So maybe
probably
like,
taking on like your medium-sized humanoids then.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ramels are a fucking snack if it sees them because it
Yeah.
knows they're not getting away, and
Yeah.
they are crunchy, delicious calcium. But like, if you come across this thing in the dungeon, like adventurers, like it'll square up.
So my idea is if it's an ambush predator, you already said it's like the cross between an ankylo and I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't know, and a
And
horse.
Kylosaurus, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and so what if it hides like along the wall, and then when an unsuspecting adventurer, humanoid, whatever, whenever its prey walks by, it launches itself off the wall and impales them on its spikes as its
Love
attack.
that.
Ooh. Ooh.
And
Are the
then, it
God.
spikes
just shakes them off and
retractable
then turns and
or
eat
just
them.
there?
Either one would be awesome.
Honestly, I'm
It
just
flaps
reminded of
them
how,
like a
like,
porcupine.
if you've ever seen, like, a donkey defending a flock, it'll just grab a coyote by the neck and just shake it.
Yeah.
I've been
But
bitten by
that is a
many
good question.
horses in
This
my life.
Oh
Do
god.
what now?
I said I've been bitten by many horses in my life. This is
A
brain
primal
upsy
fear.
stuff.
But
Uh,
that is a good question. Are their spines retractable or are they just out all the time?
they're, I'm gonna say they're out all the time. They're not retractable, but they're not, like, they don't stick out, like, horizontally.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a throw itself sideways and hope for the best kind of attacker. It has spikes mainly going along its spine,
Okay.
which both helps protect itself, especially when it's younger, and that also leads up to its big club tail.
Oh god, so even worse, you're just walking along, and if you don't spot the thing, you just get your head smacked in by the tail.
Oh yeah, you just get your fucking soul checked out before you even know what happened.
Yeah. It's great. All right. So then we
Third,
would go on to your third card.
Okay, that would be a 10 of hearts.
Oh god.
oh
Oh
my god.
god.
Oh
Ugh.
no.
It undergoes metamorphosis.
Oh,
This is bad. That is.
metamorphosis. Here's an idea, and you are welcome to say no to this, Cody. But what if the this hellish murder horse is simply the final stage life cycle of the Ramel?
Mhm.
As the Ramel approaches the end of its life, it acquires a taste for non-insectoid meat, breaks off from the flock, ventures underground, and metamorphosizes into a horse.
I
How do
would
you?
say that's a bit too big of a change, but also metamorphosis in real life is a pretty big change.
Yeah,
Like from a freaking caterpillar to a butterfly. Like, oh yeah, this thing's just gonna grow wings. What? Excuse me?
yeah, and lose most of its legs.
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah, like
I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about the fact that the Ramble is the original form
is the
of
larval stage.
the larval stage. I hate
Yeah,
that.
I mean that was just a hilarious idea that was the first thing to pop into my head. Cody is welcome to say no to that, and I will simply give it a different uh larval stage.
I have a counter
I hate.
proposal.
Yeah,
What if they look like normal ass horses in their larval stage?
Oh yeah.
They
Oh my god.
What if
just
you
a
never
normal
know
fucking
you've
horse
got one of these horrible beasts like living next door
until
to
it's too
you in the
late.
stables?
Until it's too late.
So then what like how do they go through the metamorphosis? Do they do like a caterpillar thing where they cocoon themselves and change? Or do they do something else? Do
what if
is
And
it's
their final form growing inside of them and then their skin bursts?
I
definitely that. It's like if you've ever seen like crabs or lobsters or other crustaceans like shedding their shells, like it like you can just sort of see them on the inside like wiggling free and then they split along the back. The
Oh
spines are the
my
first thing to show.
god. Just imagine you're riding your horse, right? You
And
know, you're not even doing anything dangerous. You're just going out for a leisurely ride and you feel something inside your horse moving and it shudders and you get off and you're like, are you okay? What's going on? And then its back splits in two and this creature crawls out and this thing just finished metamorphosizing, whatever words. It's
yeah,
hungry. You're the nearest food.
that makes me think that it probably has a very interesting evolutionary relationship with people. Like perhaps this horrible murder horse has, in a way, parasitized uh, the normal horse's relationship with humanoids in order to better ensure the safety of its offspring. Because like
I think
normal people, because like people, like they give their horses stables and food and safety.
so. That
I
begs the
like
question:
that.
how intelligent are these things?
I want us to
At
here. I
least
have
as
an idea.
intelligent as a cuckoo bird.
I have an idea. Like
Yeah.
um training uh training and rearing these murder horses is dangerous but profitable because there have been studies shown that prove that moths and butterflies retain memories from their time as caterpillars. So what if the murder horses do retain memories from their time as normal horses in their larval stage, and when they metamorphosize and break out, it is usually they have to be isolated so that they don't immediately go on a hunger murder spree, but they can then be retrained to be mounts and beasts of war for
So
their
it's interesting you
human.
say they have to be isolated because the hearts part of that card says that they're a solitary species.
Isolated from everything,
Yeah.
humans. Yeah, I mean, um,
I think it
so
is possible that maybe on rare occasion a murder horse will be fond enough of its rider to not immediately just eat them on sight after metamorphosizing. But I think it's just a little too rare and they're a little too unpredictable to
or maybe in the fridge.
reliably
Maybe in the fridge.
make such use of them.
Yeah. The feeling I'm getting is more that they are just no
A,
thoughts,
wret-
only kill.
a wretched misfortune of a creature.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, since they are a solitary species, what happens when two of them meet?
It depends probably. If
It depends on if they're in heat.
first of all, shut up. Uh, yeah, it probably depends. Like if it happens to be, like a male and a female, uh, or hell, maybe they're uncommon enough that they just have like snail workings where they have like both equipment and it's just like a fucking sword fight to see who stabs who first.
I love that freaking
Just make it as violent as possible. These creatures are just
that
as
that
violent as
visual
possible.
image. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go with that. They are all technically male and female, and whenever two of them meet, it is an immediate violent battle for dominance to see who can stab who first, and the loser gets pregnant.
Like cherubs.
Like snails.
Like bedbugs. Nature's
Like
weird.
bedbugs.
Nature is weird. Have we named these things yet?
No, we've just been calling them murder horses.
I do think that would be the colloquial name for them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd
I
like their
do think if
scientific
there was
name to
ever an
be
event where there was a group of them, I think the plurality of them would be a misfortune.
Mm-hmm.
Optionally, a tragedy.
More specifically, crap, we're all dead.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit, run.
a
A
nope.
panic. A nope.
I'd like their scientific name to be Highfields after my least favorite teacher from high school.
Sure,
High
hell yeah.
fields. Okay.
Yes, I shan't divulge more so that I don't dox myself, but there
Too
was
late, I'm coming to your
there was
house.
animosity.
Hmm.
Yeah, their scientific name, their species name is Highfields after the scientist who discovered them, who may or may not also have been a dick.
And may or may not have also died tragically.
Who may or may not have been eaten by a murder horse.
God, that is
And
a
just
terrifying fucking creature.
I
I mean, I
I
could have made it worse, admittedly. The whole spines and scales thing really pushed it in the direction of Ankylosaurus.
mm-hmm.
My my original thought when I was thinking about if I landed a predator was something that clings to the ceiling and snipes you from above.
As a horse?
Possibly a horse, probably a horse. Maybe a bird if I'd rolled a bird.
Bark.
I mean, you don't want any large monster sniping at you from above with huge, unsettling teeth.
Truly.
Um,
Well, next is the scene prompt. So you get to draw a card, I think, right?
Yep.
yeah. Draw a card. What's the card? How do I do that?
You see the deck on the side of the screen there? The bottom
Yeah.
one? Just click and drag.
Eh. Eight of Hearts.
Hmm. That
Oh,
is
that's perfect. Oh,
biding
what a scene.
one's time.
It's waiting. It is
It's
the one who
waiting.
waits and watches.
So I'm imagining some random adventurer is uh walking through the fortress, right?
Yeah.
And they come around a corner and they see some interesting architecture on the wall. Unknown to them, the interesting architecture is the murder horse. They have not succeeded on their perception check, let's say.
And then the last thing that goes through their mind is the front of their skull.
Yes. I like the idea of these things being smart enough to wait until their prey is right on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I hate the idea of these things being intelligent.
Exactly as intelligent as a horse, which is to say, incredibly neurotic and malicious in intent.
Yeah, like even if they're just smart enough uh as like cuckoo birds in order to parasitize the horse's relationship with the human, like that's still not what you want in a
No.
creature that's about to stegosaurus your ribcage in.
God, that we better find one of these in the fortress. We better have to fight it.
Seraphet's gonna be so happy.
Yes, 100%. This is definitely something I think she should be able to turn into.
Seraphit as a murder horse would be incredible.
Yes.
Alright, so on that image, hey, did you know, fun fact I've learned about horses from living in close proximity to them in a rural area? Did you know if you sneak up on one, they'll not only kick you, they'll also shit on you?
Will they really? Oh my god.
Yeah, they're the worst. But yeah, that brings us to Zelda. What you
All
got for
right. So
us?
I've kept my cards put away, so I don't know which ones I've had. My
Mm.
first one is the Seven of Spades, meaning I've got a burrower or builder that is an invertebrate.
Mm.
Ooh.
Hmm.
What kind? So you've got a lot to choose from. What
It,
kind of animal do you want to base it on?
it kind of tells me that it feels like the ecological niche of like ants.
So I'm gonna hate myself for doing this. I'm going to hate myself for doing this. But y'all know those spiders in the desert that like the that dig like sand pits, and then when something steps near them, they jump out and grab them?
Are those camel
Uh,
spiders?
I think so.
Another option that would be really fun and horrifying would be ant lions.
That too. Are those
Uh,
similar to spiders? I actually don't know what an actual antlion looks like. I've only seen them in like games and stuff.
They're fucking cute. They're
They're kind of like
What the fuck is that? Oh god.
they're
Oh, I
kind of like
hate it.
little nightmares.
Oh my god, I hate it.
I like
Yeah,
ant lions far more than I like camel spiders.
Yeah, they're kind of like little nightmares that then turn into like a discount damselfly.
Okay. So I don't think these things are massive. I think they're pretty tiny because they obviously the dungeon wall, the fortress wall, it regenerates. So they have to be able to continuously burrow and keep themselves the space open, which I don't think is feasible for something that is massive.
Yeah, being
Mhm.
small would definitely help them there.
Yeah. Um so my current idea before I go on and get the next cards is that they prey on things of pretty much any size. They will burrow and wait in the wall, and then when any prey comes by, they will dig their way out and attach to them and bite them, similar to a tick. And I think they would drink of the blood essentially until they
Well,
are removed.
I had a horrible thought that would possibly give them the ability to do that.
What?
What if they utilized acid, both as a burrowing instrument and as a weapon?
Oh God. Okay,
So, like,
so
acid melts into the stone, hides there, and then when it jumps on you and it bites, it uses like its acid to melt the flesh and slurp the goo.
yeah, that's perfect. Yes. Maybe with a numbing agent in the acid, so you might not realize there's one on you right away.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then you just realize that, like, oh, there's bone
Oh,
showing.
yeah. Oh, I have a pretty big bite taken out of my leg. That's not good.
Oh dear.
My friend Karst is in the Twitch chat. Hello, Karst. You've come at
Hello, Karst.
exactly the wrong time.
Hi,
You're welcome.
Uh,
cars.
You missed the murder horse. That was a trip.
oh God.
Personally, I think the murder horse is the best thing we've come up with yet so far.
You're
Oh
welcome.
yeah,
Indeed.
it's inspired and terrifying.
All right, so on to my second card, which is the it is in the Ace of Spades. Wow, I just realized all three of my cards are spades. That's lovely.
It has
Yeah.
a short tail,
Has a short tail.
or no tail at all.
You know what? I think that works out. It has a prehensile style tail. That's where it discharges the acid from.
How about this? What if their bite is the numbing agent and their tail is the acid spitter?
Yes, that works perfectly. Because I'm thinking like you know how mosquitoes, right? You tend
Yeah.
not to feel a mosquito bite for the same reason.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they will weaken the wall. They'll essentially keep the wall weak but intact. And then maybe, you know, if we take this into D&D terms, they have a form of tremor sense, so they can tell when something walks by.
Yeah.
Um, and then they will burst out of the wall at a like probably a lower height, bite you to numb the area, and then begin using their tail to hit the area with acid. And obviously their fangs or mandibles or whatever they are.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with mandibles, similar to antlion. You know,
Yeah.
they are resistant to the acid.
Yeah. Uh,
I like the idea of the
fucking
acid spitter being like on their backside because it allows them to essentially burrow ass first so they can have their mouths positioned at the opening
Yes,
without
something
having
like
to
that.
turn.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, the idea of it biting you, um, and like latching on, and then stinging you with its acid and just melting your skin off.
Hmm. I don't think it's common for these things to outright kill a person, but it's probably likely that many people have lost like hands, feet, whatever to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not
Like entire
necessarily
digits
deadly,
gone.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily killers, but definitely the result of
Mutilators.
many disfigurement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um. So like, so we've got an antlion with massive mandibles and a scorpion tail.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, I hate it.
It's beautiful.
It's like a
All right.
scorpion, but worse.
On to my third card, which is the Ten of Spades. So,
It also
oh god,
undergoes murder. This is not as horrifying as the murder horse because I feel like okay, this gives you the chance to give it the damselfly evolution, but make it worse.
so I don't really know what damselflies are, but I feel like I know what you're going for that. Could you explain it?
Uh,
Damselflies are like dragonflies, but more delicate looking.
yeah.
My idea was that they I don't know if this is going too much into the horror direction, but what if they also lay eggs in you while they're eating, and then that hatches into
Oh,
larva grubs,
Oh,
which
just
then
full
eat their
chest
way
bursters.
out. Yeah, yeah, like yeah,
that's
essentially.
that's too much for me.
Okay, sorry. We
That's
will
okay.
undo that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's. Whew.
Oh, nightmare.
I
Yeah,
what if what if they just what if their metamorphosis is that they inexplicably sprout wings so now they can fly at you?
Oh
oh
yeah, what if
god, that's
their final
awful.
evolution is where they just like abandon pretenses of burrowing and they just become mobile aerial hunters?
Mm-hmm. Like chorus
Yes.
larva to chorus hunters.
Yeah, that's actually a very
Yeah,
good
and
comparison.
they they
Yeah.
bring prey back to the hive because the
Yes.
spades part of that card is
So
that these things live in massive groups.
yeah,
They
exactly. I was about to bring that up. So what if they live in by hundreds and thousands, right? So I like the idea of a hive style idea, or at least an area of the fortress where they all tend to live, right?
mm-hmm.
Uh, so they will hide in the walls and they will use that as like their way to eat when they're infants. However, once they are grown, they grow in size, right?
Yeah.
And they attack in swarms, and so are able to take the prey and bring the food back to the infants who are like newborns and stuff like that, who can't quite
Yeah.
get in the walls themselves yet. And the collective noun for them.
You
Um,
know, you know what I think would be cute just to add just a little something to them?
hmm.
What if they carried the little newborns who couldn't quite burrow yet, like on them, like on their backs or on their bellies?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yes. So I would say on their bellies, yeah, they would use like they probably have like 6 or 8 legs or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So they would be able to hold on to the newborns as they fly.
And you carry their babies.
Hmm. So the collective noun, what would a swarm of? Well, we don't have a name for these things yet. Um, what's a good name?
No. A good name for
It's
them
just
is
no.
no.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.jpg.
Oh God, I hate what I've created so much. Um,
Oh god.
We've gone from D&D monsters to Mortasheen monsters. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Mortasheen
I
setting.
I am
I'm
not.
I'm I'm familiar with Mortasheen. I was never really into Mortasheen, but I'm very into Awful Hospital.
Yes, I've fallen so behind on Awful Hospital, I've got to catch up.
Me too, but from what I see from his Tumblr is that and also the comments that he posts under the comics is that he's behind on updating as well, and he makes fun of himself for it.
Oh, yeah, being a content creator be like that.
It'd be like
Uh-huh.
that.
I'm just like, it's okay. You take your time,
Yeah.
Bogleach. You take your time. But did we decide upon a name for them again?
Not yet. I'm trying to think.
Um, hmm. Acid Sallies.
I like that as definitely a colloquial name, as like careful. There's a hive of acid sallies down that hall. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go near that if you want to keep your leg.
Yeah.
Or worse, if the flying ones get you, your life.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. Maybe it could just be like a simple word, but in like one of the other D&D languages.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Hold on. I have an idea. Um, except for I look up, some ideas for what burrow would mean in Dwarvish, and I get nothing but Dwarf Fortress stuff.
Got him.
My
I
idea
like
is like a dwarvish sounding word at least, because if these things are naturally found
then you want to
underground.
then you want to go
Sorry,
to
Red.
then you want to go to translate and do Danish, Swedish, Icelandic, and Norwegian. In our Taldore game, I based Giant off of Icelandic.
Which is really funny because our paladin is Danish, so he knows that you named one of our mounts Potato.
Yep, I sure did. I also named one of them Baby Boy,
Baby boy, baby boy, baby boy.
I think.
My grandmother is Danish. I've been meaning to make more of an effort to learn Danish.
Duolingo.
Yee. I should also learn Tagalog because I have a cousin by marriage who is Filipino.
Yeah, I want to learn Tagalog because my best friend is uh, half Filipino and his mom like speaks fluent Tagalog, and and I want to learn it. I want to learn it. I want to play in the space. I want to engage in the culture. Anyway,
Engage.
Sorry, I'm having issues trying to think of a name here.
when I type in burrow, most Scandinavian languages just say grave, which I think is very like
Honestly,
Could
the
call
word
them,
for grave is very appropriate.
yeah,
yeah. Could call them something like grave flies or something.
grave flies. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to be a little more like horrifying about it, you could call them like grave wasps or something.
Wasps is better. They sting. Yeah, grave
Yeah.
wasps.
Grave wasps.
What name did we come up with for the horse? The fucking drawing of the horse.
I think
Fuck.
we just called it Murder Horse.
um,
Scientific name Fairfield.
Highfield, Highfield. They were called
Highfield,
Highfield.
that was
Highfield.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I hope you know that I'm probably going to wind up sketching a few of these after the session.
Feel
I
feel
love
free.
I honestly love what you've done for the fairy whales. They're so cute. And then your drawing of the Ramel is uncanny. And then the fact that you were the one who created the murder horse will haunt me uh till the day I die.
So one more thing for the grave wasps
Is
is the scene prompt.
yes. Draw that beautiful bean footage.
I got a king, so a birth or a death.
Barth.
Huh. So yeah, we'll go with birth here. We'll see how what happens. So I'm seeing this from the grayfly larva's point of view. It
Might I
I
make
think
a
it would be eggs.
suggestion?
That makes the most sense. Go
I
ahead.
had it I oh
As a swarming insect, did these things have a queen? Or an equivalent?
I I think a queen would make sense. Yeah. Um. So the queen would function similar to how it does in an ant colony. It would use it would essentially command slash use slash whatever the flyers to obtain food and bring it back for both her and the larva. So they are born in in eggs, because I think that makes sense. And there are hundreds of them born at a single time, right? These things probably have a lifespan of, well, pretty short, let's just say. So they tend to, produce a lot. Immediately upon birth, they are directed to um, the nearest food, the nearest flesh probably dissolved slightly. Let me know if I'm going too far with this. Um, and then they are immediately picked up by a flyer to be brought out into the world to be able to gain more food through that way, and to also be able to burrow themselves once they have gone through the first bit of their evolution. I shouldn't call it
Um,
evolution, their metamorphosis.
I have an idea.
Go ahead.
Who here has seen The Mummy?
I feel I have a long time ago. I remember nothing about it, but I think I saw it.
There are scenes where just swarms of scarabs like dig up out of the sand, and everyone freaks out because they're flesh-eating scarabs. What if you just see like a bulge in the rock and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then
Oh, I hate it and I love it.
you see a bulge in the rock and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then they all like pop out and just start scattering to find the food. You're like, oh shit, oh shit.
That is exactly what happens, and I hate you for bringing it up.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What can I
What
say
can I say except
except
delete this?
hold on. Flash. What can I say except I'll kill you?
Man, what a creature. What a bunch of creatures we have created. We started with the innocent and stupid Ramel, and we went into murder horses and grave wasps.
Mm-hmm.
Had to give Seraphet something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave her something stupid, we gave her something beautiful, we gave her something horrifying, and we gave her something disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what they look like. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
What's the phrase? God looked upon his creation and was horrified or something?
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he's created?
That's exactly it.
Drawing with a mouse is hard.
100%.
Whoa, fuck. Damn, that's a really good murder horse, and that's a really good uh Greyfly. Just every You should use Doc's drawings as the tokens for these things.
Well, I'll draw them better in Clip Studio.
Okay, the horse needs to be fed. I already fed them. You fed them, dude? I fed them. Don't let them trick you. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry about that.
All
No
good.
worries. That's how animals are. They will be fed and then they will cry and say they never were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
And
I
I
had a
have
cent to my name, Doc, I would commission you to create these horrors for tokens.
honestly, can Doc, can I put you on blast a little bit? Can I put you on blast a little bit?
Sure.
If you commission him, it's more likely that he'll do it if you don't commission him. Not to like put you on blast or anything, but you're not the only person who does this, but like I've known plenty of people who are like, if people commission me, it's going to take much longer than if they just ask me to draw something. Just like understandable, have a nice day.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't help that I've been struggling for several months with burnout.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
is
that
true.
is a monster.
Maybe hey,
Yeah.
maybe this will help you with the burnout.
Yeah.
Drawing fucked up creatures.
You know what?
Hmm.
If going into the grave wasps and all that a little more, if they do burrow, I would think they would have if they have like hives and stuff like that, I think they would have a set of grave wasp workers whose entire job is to create the hive, essentially, to dig the hive and stop the regenerating walls from closing in on them.
Mm.
Like a little like specialist type of drone whose like
Exactly.
sole purpose was acid production.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They
I
just
like
stick
it.
to the walls and ooze.
I like it. I like it. Picasso.
It's probably because of them that you can possibly know when a hive of murder wasp is nearby by the sharp odor of melting stone and
There
acid.
you
Mm.
go. Exactly. I love that. Yes. That is great and horrifying, but also great.
Yeah, sulfuric almost. I accidentally drew a line through my murder horse and I can't select it to get rid of it.
It is now part of the murder horse. They have
Yeah.
a protruding blade coming out of their neck.
It now has just a huge sword for a face. Thank you.
Yeah.
As if it couldn't get worse.
All right. So to cap off this game of Exquisite Biome, uh, we are going to frame one last scene where all of these creatures interact. So I'm going to draw a card to give us an idea of what's going on in that scene. The Ten of Clubs. A tough life lesson.
I mean, uh considering the menagerie we've got here today, I can only imagine the scene being like a brutal lesson in the circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I imagine uh I don't I'm sorry, Cody, but I imagine everything ganging up on the fucking potoos, on the ramels.
The poor Ramel.
The
Yes, there's
ramels,
just.
like a swarm of ramels uh waddles into a room that has a gravefly mound, a secret high field over in the corner, and a small hazard of fairy whales mimicking flowers. Some of them go over to the flowers to look for uh, insects and end up eating poisonous fairy whales. Some go over to the grayfly mound and get poisoned and stung either to death or they have a fun new parasite friend. Some of them wander too close to the high field and get crushed to death. Well, actually, they
If
don't
you
get
even
crushed to
fucking
death.
look, if you
They
even
don't
fucking
get
look at
crushed
me,
to
I will
death
stomp you to death with my hooves.
because of their
Actually,
dense bones. They just get punted across the room.
yep, and then immediately flee.
Yeah.
No, I
Honestly,
don't.
like, consider
I.
this. One of the potoos wanders too close to the hiding murder horse. The murder horse swings its tail into action, punts the potoo like a poor little soccer ball. It may or may not be dead on impact. Its poor little body hits the grave wasp mound very hard, setting off the entire hive.
Oh God! So we've got Cody. I think you're about to say the Rambles are dumb and try to square up with a high field. Is what I assume you're about to say.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Throwing themselves at it.
Can I propose what would happen if they do that? The high field has now been exposed, so it like goes for some of the Rambles. It attempts to bite one and breaks its teeth on its bones. I imagine it has more swinging power in its tail than it does jaw power.
Fighting power. Yeah.
Fighting power.
Oh yeah,
Like
much like an ankylosaurus, it probably relies on its tail as its main weapon. Like you don't want to get hit by its kicking legs or gnashing teeth, but its tail is more like death on impact.
It's like a minotaur. You don't want to make it angry, but you certainly don't want to turn it on.
Exactly.
Unless, no, I'm not going to say it.
You shut your poor mouth.
That's what a scene. So I'm imagining some Rambles are overeating the fairy whales and dropping dead almost immediately. Where the fairy whales immediately begin their morning dance or their morning song, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the hive is going absolutely nuts, and there's like essentially a cloud of grave wasps being spewed into the air. And the tough lesson here is both for the Ramel and for the high field. The high field learns don't try to bite a freaking Ramel. And the Ramel realizes stay away from everything in this dungeon. It's too dangerous.
The fairy whales
nightmare.
The fairy whales learn do not nest near these creatures because they'll just eat everyone because they don't know that they're poisonous. And the tough lesson for the grave wasp is fuck. We have to rebuild the nest.
Exactly. Maybe learn to hide the nest a bit better.
Yeah.
Their lesson is shit happens.
Yeah.
Here's the last detail I'm going to propose for this. Maybe the Ramels have a little more success with the grave wasps because they have those hard magical bones, and maybe
you know what?
they pry them up out of the nest with their horns. And...
full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle. Grave wasps the grave wasps are the Ramels' natural prey.
That's true. Yeah.
They dig into the walls to find insects, while the insects they would find are grave wasps.
For all of the Ramels' ridiculous faults, they are the natural predators of the grave wasp.
Because the grave wasp acid is not enough to really get into them. Number one, their feathers would help protect them from the acid really getting to their skin. And if they try to do the horns or the bones, those things aren't going to melt away quickly.
Yeah. There's a possibility that a grave wasp will latch onto a Ramel, stay on for a while, and then either jump off or die of starvation because it's not getting enough out of it.
Exactly. That's so cool. Good idea, Cody.
Yeah. Here's a fun mechanical bit. What if Ramels have acid resistance?
Ooh, yeah. So if we run into them,
And the fair whales naturally have poison resistance.
Yeah. Like almost everything in this freaking game, I swear.
Murder horses cannot be frightened.
Of course.
If you want to be really mean about it, maybe they have their own fear effect, but that just seems...
I was actually about to say that the grave wasps could have their own fear effect, because it is terrifying seeing a swarm of those things.
I also would like to say maybe grave wasps resistance to piercing damage.
Yeah, they would have like a hard, like chitinous shell, so yeah. But maybe vulnerability then to bludgeoning damage, because you smack them.
Yeah, you smack them.
And we all know Wizards of the Coast doesn't do enough with vulnerabilities.
Yeah, they really don't. In our Friday game, I recently gained a vulnerability.
Oh,
because
fun.
my heart is now made of wood. I have
Homeboy's
fire
a
vulnerability.
fucking Briarheart.
I'll just sneak up
Rip
behind you and
Orion,
pickpocket your heart.
he got up.
Pickpocket him. He just falls over.
I gotta put a message into the Dice Mischief.
I imagine the party, like, looking into the room in which all this is happening. There's a murder horse swinging its tail. There are some sad singing whales. There are rambles hopping around, either getting crushed to death or eating the grave wasps. Uh, and they're just like, yeah, let's turn around. Seraphet's just
Belma,
like this, but Seraphet's like, this is a smorgasbord.
Belma starts crying.
Yep. Seraphet sees the murder horse as like duly noted, and then David stone shapes the room closed, and everyone fucking loves it.
The final life lesson as they all are subsequently trapped in that room until they all die or starve to death is just shit happens.
Yeah.
Fuck the sorcerer.
All right. So I've got something beginning in half an hour that I'd like to do. So I think we'll call it to an end with that round.
Well, that was a ton of fun.
This was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all for playing with me.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I can't wait to encounter these. I can't wait for the rest of the party to be like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And we're like, oh,
We run into a murder horse. You're just like, sorry.
sorry.
Oh man.
I'm not sorry at all.
You don't seem like the type of person who is.
I cannot wait to die to a horse.
I can't wait for Fenian for me to forget what's going on, like forget what the grave wasps do, and Fenian investigates it, and then just immediately dies.
I can't wait for us to encounter just a normal ass horse in the dungeon. And we're like, huh, a horse. But in the back of like our three minds, we're just like, oh no, oh no, oh no,
I
oh
just
no.
realized we're never gonna trust a horse ever again, the three of us. Even one outside of the freaking fortress, we're gonna run into it and we're gonna run.
I was just like thoroughly examining this horse, just like I know you're a little monster, I know you're a little demon. I know you're valid to eat fingers.
I would like to investigate the horse. Why?
I want to
You
insight
know
check
why.
that horse. You know
Right.
why.
I want to insight check that horse.
It'll be Yasu and the Shinriken soldiers all over again. Just a normal horse
Hey.
walks up to
Hey,
you.
I like your sword. Tell me the name of God, you piece of shit.
All right. Thank you all for playing with me. Thank you to everyone in the Twitch chat for joining. Once again, this has been Exquisite Biome by Caro Asercion, whose name I'm certain I'm mispronouncing. See excursion.itch.io if you'd like to check out their wares. And link to that will be in the description on the VOD. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.